Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. This is going to be a new What If. This is going to be part 1 to What If Naruto Was a Demon. Now, unlike the past, 10-ish videos I think I made, recently, but yeah. This one is actually going to have a like goal, unlike those videos, and that like goal, we're just going to start off low, because I don't really care that much. I probably will just post a part 2 tomorrow, even if you don't but I don't really care. The like goal is going to be 50, just because I don't really care, like I just said. So yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right into it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's begin the what if. So how this is actually going to happen is that the Shinigami, or the literal god of death kind of thing that the Uzumaki can summon, that whole shtick, it works a little bit differently in this what if. And you can also use more of your chakra and just kind of stuff like that, or if you're more powerful, or you have a more powerful soul. I don't know how stuff works, but we'll say Minato had the ability to bestow extra power from the Reaper onto Naruto because of some reason something like that actually happened. So Minato would die, and he would die instantly. He doesn't have any time to tell Naruto or help Kushina seal memories inside of Naruto. No. Instead, what he does is he makes a bit of an extra pact with the Reaper that makes it so that Naruto not necessarily turns into a demon, but he has the abilities of a demon, along with the fact that that would probably alter his mindset a little bit, because he has extra power, because he's kind of a demon but kind of not. We'll say he's a half demon, because that's just how things work, and the Reaper bestows this upon Naruto when Minato tells him to give him extra power, and Naruto becomes a demon. So Naruto's life growing up wouldn't be all too different. His hair and eyes would not be the same color. His eyes were more of a shade of red with his black hair, because he's half demon, so his physical appearance would change too. He has the same facial structure and hair, but it's just different colors and stuff like that. So Naruto grows up in the village, and he is still kind of neglected by Hiruzen, and Danzo eventually lets it slip that Naruto is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. So the villagers start to prosecute Naruto even more than they did, and Naruto has a pretty similar life growing up. Now, one thing I did mention, a little bit ago, was that Naruto's he wouldn't be affected by this too greatly, but with the new, personality and mindset, this also means that Naruto would probably be more prone to anger, considering he's half demon. So this does not go well for the villagers eventually. They're trying to bully Naruto, and they take it a little bit too far. Naruto decides at this point that he fucking hates the villagers. All of them hate him, and he hasn't really done anything wrong to them. Or at least he thinks that. I mean, it is true at this point, but that might change pretty soon. So Naruto decides that, alright, he has had enough of this, but it's not going to be the stereotypical, oh, Naruto's going to go leave the village and he finds Orochimaru or Obito or something like that, and then eventually goes back and destroys Konoha, and then, stuff I'm not going to make it that stereotypical. Naruto has a different goal in mind. He decided that he might as well rule over some people, but he doesn't want to do it in the normal way. He wants to have some betrayal, some double-crossing involved in there, just to add a little bit of tension. Naruto thinks that this could be a little bit more fun for his type of personality. He's kind of a sheepish guy. He likes to mess around a little bit. He doesn't just want to get the job done. That'd be kind of boring for him. So he decides to do this. He goes along with the villagers, just absolutely beating on him, and he doesn't kill any of them, because he needs to develop the trust of the villagers for this double cross to actually work. It needs to be a surprise, a big oomph. And Naruto decides that, alright then, all he has to do is save the village a time or two, and then everybody will trust him. So Naruto's normal childhood life throughout the rest of that goes pretty normally. It all changes when Naruto enters the academy. Because of the fact that Naruto is part demon, he is much physically stronger, along with having some special abilities of being a demon. Now, he can do stuff read minds, the casual. He can fly, because he can Naruto's just kind of that guy that's just really strong, and nobody really knows why except for Naruto. So it's he goes through the academy, And like I said, he is much stronger. He absolutely whopped Sasuke in their first fight, and Sasuke would begin training because of this to try to surpass Naruto, because if he can't surpass Naruto, then how is he supposed to surpass Itachi kind of stuff? So the first few years of the academy go pretty well for Naruto. You know, he's really strong. He's done pretty well in the actual, like, academic part of the academy, and eventually he does graduate. So with Naruto graduating, we'll say he graduates at the first, like, the same year that he did originally, even though Naruto technically, I'm pretty sure he failed like 4 times. I don't really know how, because he was the same age as everybody else, but we're just going to pretend like that isn't confusing at all. So, Naruto graduates at the same time, and they have their, like, rematch, and, you know, Naruto, once again, absolutely whomps Sasuke here, because Naruto's just so much stronger than literally everybody else, at least in the academy. He probably couldn't beat, like, Kakashi at this point, but he's pretty darn close because of all of the different special abilities that he had. He might be able to do it with hacks if Kakashi was off guard, but it's probably not going to be happening. So they do graduate, and the teams are the same as the original, just because, you know, we'll keep it simple, keep, like, the storyline at least going in the right direction. Otherwise, this could completely warp out of everywhere if Naruto joins a different team, kind of a thing. So that is what actually ends up happening. So hours pass by, everybody's already got their Jonin senseis, and they left to go do whatever they were going to do, and they're still waiting there. They wait another hour, and Kakashi finally actually shows up. There's no prank for him this time. That's not really Naruto's personality at this point. He doesn't just do meaningless pranks. Like, he'll do something if it'll be actually fun, but that's just childish and boring. Like, why would Naruto do something like that? No, why? That just doesn't even make any sense. So eventually, like I said, Kakashi ends up showing up, and he tells them all to meet him at the roof. Everybody gets there, with Naruto actually being there first, even before Kakashi, and then the rest of them show up, and they do their little introductions. Tell me a little bit about yourself. So Sasuke's is the same, but he also wants to, like, try to defeat Naruto because he's never really been able to. Sakura's is the same, but she doesn't really dislike Naruto as much. She just loves Sasuke. Oh my god, like, you know, that kind of whole thing. So Naruto's would be the only one to, like, truly change. Now, obviously, Naruto is trying to get the trust of the villagers, so he's not saying, oh, well, you see, my goal is to double-cross the entire village and then take it over. He's not just going to say that. That's not going to work out for him, and he knows that. So he decides to actually play along with this a little bit. He's like, I am going to become respected by everybody in the village and then become the Hokage, kind of. Like, Naruto's, like, you know, he's, like, trying to lie about it. And everybody can see that Naruto really doesn't have any enthusiasm in his voice when he says that, but they don't really question it that much. Like, whatever, he's probably just kind of bored about saying it so much. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. So Kakashi tells him, don't eat anything in the morning and meet me there at this big field. They're like, alright. So they show up, they wait a few hours, Kakashi eventually shows up too, with Naruto not really talking to either of his teammates. Like, he just really doesn't talk to that many people, at least not yet. So he decides to, you know, actually explain to them what the bell test is. So after he does this, everybody darts off into the forest except for Naruto. He wants to show off a little bit, and if he's the first one to fight Kakashi, he'll be at full power, and it should be a little bit more entertaining for him. So, charging towards Kakashi now from across the field, Naruto is using his full speed, meaning Kakashi immediately has to put away his book, and he begins fighting with Naruto in a 1v1, and they seemed really actually even at this point. Now, Kakashi hasn't taken out his Sharingan, but Naruto also really isn't using any of his demon abilities. He's just kind of like taijutsu fighting Kakashi at this point, and Naruto decides, you might as well whip a few out. As some dark energy begins, like, exuding off of Naruto, Kakashi immediately feels his mind just going blank. This is Naruto's mind control. Now, Naruto's actually able to do this. He just takes over Kakashi, and Naruto walks over there with his actual body, takes the bells, and walks away. Now, he undoes the mind, whatever you want to call it, and Kakashi is absolutely shocked. He's like, what? What did you just do? And he decides to pass them just because of how much stronger Naruto actually was than everybody else, and the fact that he's kind of scared of him now, so he might as well just let him do it. Like, he has no idea what that was. Like, that wasn't like the mind transfer jutsu, because it just happened immediately. There were no hand signs, there was no nothing, and Naruto could move his physical body, his like actual body, so it was like, what the fuck? He's a little bit confused by this, but he decides to just kind of move on and be like, yeah, good job, Naruto, not revealing the fact that it even was a team-based exercise. So they go through all their C-rank missions, and eventually Naruto tells Kakashi, hey, I want a higher ranking mission, and Kakashi immediately complies, because, again, remember how Naruto's, like, kind of, like, Kakashi's scared of him, like, a little bit? So he decides, alright, fine, we'll do a higher ranking mission. But, I'm sorry to say it, this is where I have to leave this part off. I have to go, because I have to go have lunch with my grandma. Don't question me. Don't question my integrity.